147 and get right into the NBA Finals. As we last left off last week, we were predicting the NBA Finals. I was alone on Indiana Island as all my co-hosts chose the Oklahoma City Thunder. And after 2 games in Oklahoma City, the series is tied at 1 apiece as the Pacers came back to steal Game 1, 111-110 on Thursday. Then the Thunder came back in Game 2, as expected, handled their business. They shut down Tyrese Halliburton, and the Thunder won Game 2, 123-107 on Sunday. Game 3 is tomorrow night, being Wednesday night. Game 4 is Friday. Game 5 is next Monday. So for the 3rd week in a row, we will be recording on a Tuesday, most likely next week as well, since Game 5 is on Monday. Each of those games start at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So after the first 2 games in Oklahoma City, the series is tied 1-1. What has been your view on it, Alex?
Thank God the Pacers pulled one out. Like, that was their main objective, was just to get one. It would be great to get both. That OKC defense is atrocious, and this series might be done in 5. Depending on how the Pacers come out tomorrow, Friday. No, tomorrow. Why did I say Friday?
Tomorrow and Friday.
Yes. I think from the OKC side, bad end of Game 1, great recovery Game 2. I think Shea was great both games. Kevin did call it, I think we all really called it, that Chet and Jay Will were probably not going to have good games, and that was going to be the game they lose. But I thought they did a really great recovery Game 2. Yeah, that OKC defense, the Pacers just could not do anything. And like everyone has been saying, the Halliburton needs to do a little bit better. And I think he can. I think they could pull out maybe one more at home. But that's it. That's probably Game 4. And that'll be it.
All right, Kevin. So Alex was not fazed by Game 1 at all. To me, based on what she just said, it's almost similar to the 2012 NBA Finals, where the Oklahoma City Thunder, it was on their home floor, but OKC takes Game 1, and then the Heat win the next 4, and LeBron ends up getting his first championship in Miami. And so what was your take on it, Kevin? Are you in the same camp as Alex, where congrats, Pacers, you got Game 1, that's it? Or do we have ourselves a series?
Congrats, Pacers. You got one. Alex said it. I knew when the Pacers, I picked them, the Thunder in 5, and I said the one game they do lose, J-Dub and Chet are going to turn into pumpkins. And that's exactly what they did. Chet Holmgren scored 6 points, and J-Dub had 17. And a lot of those points were fast break dunks, so I will also say J-Dub had a struggling game. Matt, I can't pronounce his last name. The OKC coach is Dagnall.
Mark Dagnall.
Mark Dagnall came out, amazing record in the playoffs, and Game 1 said, Isaiah Hartenstein, sit down. Casey Wallace, it's your time to shine. And they played 0 minutes of double big Game 1, and they lost. Game 2, they played 25-plus minutes of the 2 big tandem, and you can just see they were able to win the out-rebound them in Game 2. They lost in Game 1, and that's really rare for the Thunder to lose a rebounding battle. So just for him to really just recommit himself to that 2 tandem big goes a long way. We've been seeing it more and more as time goes on. We're getting away from 4 shooters and 1 big, and having 2 bigs out there really just changes the flow. But I really wanted to come on here today and say there were 3 people on this podcast, and for the audio-only listeners, I was not one of them, that said Tyrese Halliburton was a top 3 player in the finals. I don't know if you guys know this, but the man had 10 points going into the 4th quarter. 10 points. And I get it. He hit the game-winning shot. He's not looking too hot in his finals. Going into game 2, 4th quarter, he had 3 more points, 3 more assists, and 3 more rebounds than all of us. That's it. 3, 3, and 3. He finished with 17, so it looks nice. He made it look like his numbers are there. Dude's not even looking at the rim till they're down 20 points in the second game in the 4th quarter.
That's how he gets it. That's what motivates him.
Oh,
once they're down, then he gotta.
Anyone can play in garbage time. No
garbage
pressure.
time. I mean, is it
Everyone
garbage
stop
time when it's the game-winning
watching.
shot? Big time players show up in big moments, Kevin.
So
He
was
is the
game 2 not a
moment.
big moment? Were the first
I
three
mean-
quarters of the NBA Finals game 2 not a big moment?
But
Okay,
it's a
but-
bigger moment the last 7 minutes of the NBA Finals than it is the first 42.
I'm
or
happy
48.
you mentioned that because in the last 3 minutes of that game, he had 1 bucket.
Because the game was already over by then.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about
Kevin-
game 1.
Okay,
But he got the bucket that
he had-
counts.
He had the bucket that counted.
But let's not make it seem like he was dibbling and dabbling.
No, he wasn't. None of us are saying that.
These first 2 games, Tyrese Halliburton did not play well.
Yeah.
And
So-
for you guys want to sit here and say he hit the shot, congratulations, you hit the shot. You came off a 30-point triple-double. Everyone's saying you should have been Eastern Conference MVP. Shaun showing up to Jersey. 10
Don't
points.
make me go grab it.
10 points. This is a top 3 player. You know who has more points in this series? Alex fucking Caruso. Should we have put him in the top 3? You know
I
who
think
had a
they
better
have-
game 1 than Tyrese Halliburton? Obi Toppin. Should we have been Obi Toppin the top 3 player? I mean, it's one thing to drive the boat. It's one thing to just kind of push it along. Tyrese Halliburton, they are 20-0 this season when he has 21 plus points and 10 rebounds.
Yes. Great
10
point.
assists, excuse me. So for him to go into game 2, and I told Alex on the phone, I said, they're going to come into game 2 and shit on the court and say, we're going back to Indiana. That first quarter, I was like, okay, we might have a game. 19-2 run, Thunder don't ever look back. Tyrese Halliburton has to play. You have to come to play. You have SGA, who has scored the most points in NBA history in the first 2 finals. The MVP. This was supposed to be mano a mano. And it's looking like Shai's playing against his little brother. Tyrese Halliburton, I've been saying this for week in and week out. He is the motor to this team. So if he's going to come out and have 3 points and not even look at the rim, you're not going to get this team going. You're looking around. Obi Toppin's not having a good game. Pascal Siakam's not having a good game. So at this point, we're going to die on the Tyrese Halliburton hill. You're going to either shoot us back into this game or you're going to get a rhythm going into game 3. So for you to score 12 points in the fourth quarter, 9 of those points against the backups really doesn't make me feel good about moving into game 3 because he has shot 0 free throws in this series. So you know what that means? He doesn't want to go to the cup. Every time he goes to the cup, he's getting the ball stolen. He had more turnovers than points and rebounds combined going into the fourth quarter. So I get it. He hit the game-winning shot. Cool beans. All 3 of us, when Shai shot that midi, said, Pacers are down 3. And it just happened to rattle out.
Clank.
My man had 38 points. I'm sure none of us, we were all sweating, saying, damn it, he's going to hit this shot. And he just happened to miss it. And I get it. Tyrese Halliburton hit the shot, and now he's top 3 in game winning or game time shots since 1997 in the fourth quarter. Like it sounds real good, but watching the game from tip off to zeros, he's not playing well. And this was the first time watching Tyrese Halliburton as a Kings fan where I was like, you know what? I'm happy he's not a Kings player. Because let us get to the NBA Finals and you have 3 points, 3 assists, and 3 rebounds going to the fourth quarter, I'm burning the fucking jersey.
But you got to the NBA Finals from him. So you can't be that upset. Especially the Kings.
Did
Especially
he win
the
the Eastern
Kings.
Conference Finals MVP? So did they get there because of him or did they get there for Pascal?
Well, Kevin, I'm glad that you were mentioning the stat lines that Tyrese Halliburton has had because you talked about his 32 points, 15 assists, 12 rebound, triple-double that he had against the Knicks in Game 4. And yes, he responded and followed that up with 8 points, 6 assists, 2 rebounds, shooting 2 of 7 from the field. But then immediately after that crap of a game, he responded with 21 points, 13 assists, 6 rebounds on 9 of 17 from the field. Even with, I get the point that you're making about Game 2 specifically, that he recorded most of his 17 points in garbage time. I get the point. But when we think about clutch players in the NBA, Sacramento Kings had the inaugural clutch player of the year. Kevin, what's the definition of clutch time in the NBA?
Last 5 minutes of a game.
And other than that,
I don't know what the point spread is.
within
like
5 points, within 5
5
points
points.
in the last 5 minutes of the game. So you're talking about, Tyrese is putting up all these numbers in game 2 in the last 12 minutes, last 9 minutes, last 5 minutes, but it wasn't within 5 points. So that wasn't clutch time.
Sorry.
He showed up. He showed
You
up
only
in
play when
clutch
it's a
time.
good game. So when you're getting blown out, you want to score more. How does that make sense, Shaun? You're telling me when they're playing worse, he's more aggressive, but when it's a close game, he doesn't be aggressive.
Yet he wasn't aggressive, but yet he hit the game-winning shot. Make it make sense.
You know how many points he scored in the last 5 minutes of game 1?
The one that mattered.
That's clutch player of the year right there. I mean,
Well,
for you to mention that, and we see guys like De'Aaron Fox and Jalen Brunson who won the year this year, they were averaging double digits in the fourth quarter. For him to have in clutch time just 2 points, kind of a contradiction because you can't say that's really clutch when you only shot the ball twice.
I mean, if it's the shot that wins his team the game in the NBA Finals,
Game 1.
I'll take that.
Underdogs.
I'll take that.
So as a basketball fan, you only look at the fourth quarter? You don't think about anything that happened in the first 3 quarters?
I mean,
not when you win.
Yeah. If you win, like
you won.
That's why after the game, Pascal and Tyrese were walking through the hallway at Chesapeake Arena, and Pascal was like, "We didn't even play well. We're
because they know they got blessed. There's no way they should have won that game."
Hey, but you know what? They've had this so many times in the playoffs, though, Kevin. So, it's not rare anymore.
Alex, they were the first team in NBA history. How long has the basketball world been going? A long time. For every person to play on the court to hit a 3. That's only happened one time in a long time. I don't think that's real common.
Well, Kevin, you were saying that they got blessed in game 1 of the NBA Finals. But they've been doing this throughout the NBA playoffs. And we got to get Jaevon in here on the discussion. But I just have to mention these statistics real quickly. Because as Ben Golliver points out, and he is a national NBA writer for the Washington Post. Jaevon, earlier we were talking about the difference of Big J journalists and just anyone with a check mark on Twitter. Ben Golliver, Big J journalist. This is a tweet that he put out that I think is worth mentioning. The Pacers have now cheated death 4 times in this year's playoffs. Against the Bucks, they had a 97.9% win percentage, up 7 points in the final 35 seconds. Pacers won that game. Against Cavaliers, they had a 95.9% win percentage when they were up 7 points in the final minute. Pacers won that game. Against the Knicks, 99.7% win percentage, up 14 points in the final 3 minutes. Pacers won that game. And finally, game 1 of the NBA Finals, the Thunder had a 96.4% win percentage, up 9 in the final 3 minutes of the game. But the Pacers still won that game. From Josh Dubois of the Associated Press. Pacers trailed by 9 with 2:52 to play. In the play-by-play era, which is since the start of the 1997 playoffs, teams were 0-121 in NBA Finals when trailing by 7+ points in the final 3 minutes of the fourth quarter or overtime before tonight. Tonight being last Thursday. Point being, the Pacers are that team. Like, it'd be one thing if it was just that stat alone, 0-121, because they're the first to do it. If it was just that stat alone, then I'd say, okay, they got blessed. They got lucky. Shea missed a shot that he never misses, and it is what it is. But that wasn't the case, as I just mentioned, with those 4 games throughout these playoffs. And it's not like those 4 games all happened in the same round. They have happened in each round of these playoffs. So they've been doing it time and time again against different opponents. And the last thing that I want to say about this, and this is from Legion Hoops, this is insane, but true. The Pacers are 5-3 when trailing by 15 or more points in these NBA playoffs. 5-3 when trailing by 15+ points. They have a winning record when they trail by 15 points. Make it make sense. It doesn't. And so, Kevin, I know you want to jump back in, but Jaevon has been patiently waiting. Toddy, what are your thoughts on these NBA Finals? Because both of the Dents believe that, congrats, Pacers, you got game 1. It's over now. But are you in the same camp as them?
I think we have to look at the reality of the situation. What does the series say at the bottom of the ticker? It's still 1-1. So the Pacers are going back home with home court advantage. They did what they were supposed to do in game 1. I get it, Kevin. They were losing this, that, and the third. Tyrese Halliburton was horrible for 3 quarters and
4.5.
4.5 quarters, or however you want to say. He hit the game-winning shot. They ended up sealing the game for them. And I don't think it's a coincidence on how many times Shaun has already brought up. They're 5-3 when trailing 15 plus points in this NBA playoffs. I think it's just the way that they win. They've shown it time and time again throughout each round and on the grandest stage of them all, literally in the NBA finals. They did the exact same thing that they've been doing all playoffs. So Pacers weren't supposed to win that game. I mean, I'm going to go back to what Kevin was saying. I mean, they turned the ball over 25 times. 25 times.
NBA Finals record, 20.5.
25 times they turned the ball over. They blew past the record, as Kevin already mentioned, and they still won. So for them to go back with home court advantage, I get in game 2 was kind of just a wash. I think that's, if you look at OKC and how their playoffs have usually went at home, it's usually they blow the shit out of whoever they're playing, or they lose off of a fluke. The 2 flukes were literally game winners. Tyrese Halliburton game winner, and game 1 against Denver, back in the second round when they played against Denver, when Aaron Gordon hit that game winner. Yeah. So every other time they play at home, it's a blowout. So you can kind of, I mean, the point spread has been ginormous. I don't have it on my handy dandy. I usually know what the point spread is for tomorrow. I don't, but in both games, it's been 11 points, 11 and a half, 12, double-digit points for OKC, because Vegas just thinks that OKC is just so much better, so much more talented, which they are. They are. So, I mean, it's just, it doesn't, I think it really, what we have to kind of look at it is, doesn't matter, because we've seen Indiana time and time again be outmatched, and this team is better than this team. They're the underdog coming in. Doesn't matter, because they're here in the NBA Finals now. So I feel like they've been hearing the same exact noise all year long from guys like Kevin, guys like myself, saying that they're not supposed to be here. They're not supposed to be here. They're not supposed to win this game. I think they're feeding off of that. It's all a part of it. I mean, the Pacers, everyone's looking at it. Game 2, they could literally go up 2-1 in this series. Oh, they just got blown out, and they have a chance to go up 2-1 in this series. So it's a race to 4, not a race to 1, not a race to 2. You got to win 4 games, and I think we're going to have to just kind of. I really can't explain what the Pacers are. I can't really explain how they're winning these games, how they're able to do this time and time again. I can't really explain, because the math is saying OKC should be blowing them out. Like, OKC has a point, like, they have a historic point differential throughout this entire playoffs. Like, they beat a team by 50 points in this play. 50. Easter Sunday, they beat Memphis by 50 points. So it's going to kind of come down to, I get Tyrese Halliburton hasn't played well, but if you look at the guys that he's being defended by, literally Lou Dort, and then once Lou Dort is like, all right, I need a breather, here comes Alphonse Caruso. So it's going to be tough for him to kind of get his shake back and get into the swing of things. But I think he's got guys like Pascal Siakam,
Obi Toppin,
and guys like Obi Toppin, Miles Turner. I think is going to play well for them, especially at home. And I think, role players, it's kind of known that role players play well at home, especially during the playoffs. So tomorrow's going to be a very interesting game. I want to pull up the point spread and see what the spread is for tomorrow's game, but I would still imagine that OKC's favored on the road. And they need Tyrese to play better. That's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, we get it. He's not really a scorer. But just the way that he's been able to get his team in these types of situations time and time again, they're going to need all they can get, especially against this OKC team, who I think is a juggernaut. I think we can all agree on they're a historic team, and they're going to need all they can get going into tomorrow in Indiana. I know, and you guys know, that place is going to be rocking. When was the last time they had a finals appearance? Reggie Miller was playing. So I can guarantee that place is going to be nuts tomorrow. We'll probably see Pat McAfee. He's probably going to have a show out there and do his whole spiel, and it's going to be rocking in Indiana tomorrow for sure.
The spread's 5.5.
5.5. OKC, right? Yes.
But before we move on, Shaun, as the only person who chose the Pacers on a scale of 1 being shitting bricks to 10 sunshine and rainbows, how confident do you feel that the Pacers still have a chance to win the series?
Shit, dude. Like a 6 or 7. Because I did not expect them to get either of those first 2 games in OKC. Like, I know that I picked, even for our pick'em, and I prefaced last week by saying, like, I got the Pacers in 6, but if my pick'em doesn't match it, it's because I'm politicking and I'm trying to make sure that I end up as the champion of this pick'em from start to finish. But I still picked Indiana in game 1. I ended up being right about it. And I think Alex also picked Indiana in game 1. But yeah, and then all 4 of us picked OKC in game 4 because that was an easy one. That was like when they went back to OKC for game 5 of the West Finals, where we all picked OKC because it just kind of seemed obvious. But to your point, Kevin, I feel like a 6 or a 7 on the Pacers winning this scale because, as Jaevon was saying, OKC is clearly the better team, but Indiana just constantly seems to find a way. They took out the top seed in the East in the conference semifinals. And then they took out the Knicks, who was really like the 3rd choice for a lot of people, but behind the Cavs, behind the Celtics. They took them out too. Indiana was never mentioned in that until they just kept winning, kept coming back from 15-point deficits. And so, as the only person on this panel who picked the Pacers to win this series, my confidence level is at a 6 or a 7. If it goes back to OKC with the Pacers trailing 3-1, then it's going to go down to like a 1. But right now, as Toddy said, the Pacers have home court advantage in the finals. Even if they split, then they go back to OKC and they just might have to steal another in OKC, which is a long shot. So, in my opinion, if the Pacers want to lock this up, specifically in 6 games, as I had predicted, they got to win both of these games at home. And obviously, all the sports books don't think it's going to happen, as OKC is favored by 5.5 points.
Both games is crazy.
Both games. They're on their home court. They are on their home court. And if they want to keep possession of that home court advantage that they stole in game 1, then they got to hold it down on their home court. But, to answer your question, Kevin, I'd say a 6. I'm not going to do the if, ands, or buts, either or. I feel a confidence level of a 7 about the Pacers winning this series because they stole game 1.
Okay.
Love it. I like you standing on business, Shaun.
I appreciate it because, I was like a peacock with my pigeon or with my feathers out. I was about to say like a pigeon. No, I was like a peacock with my feathers out after game 1. I was like, hey, 3 more. All the people on TikTok that were telling me that I was stupid, I just responded to them and I just said, 1 down, 3 to go.
I love all the people on TikTok that have been coming after Kev.
Man, they were coming after me.
It was real quiet on the game, too. It was real quiet on the game, too. They were getting I got to show you those comments.
Yeah, after game or before game 1, they were coming at my neck. And then after game 1, they were coming after Kevin. And, like he said, it's quiet after game 2. We'll see what they have to say about this week's clips. But, the Pacers currently have home court advantage. I still would feel confident. Like, it wouldn't be a 7. It would be more so like a 3 or a 4 if OKC had won both games to start the series, but they didn't. And the Pacers just always seem to find a way. There's no rhyme or reasoning to it. They just find a way. And, it could be fate. I don't know what your guys' beliefs are, but it could be fate in the sense that, as a lot of people have said, it was already said earlier on today's episode, Shea makes that midi 99% of the time. Without 1%, it happened. And the Pacers stole game 1. So we shall see.
Let's go over these poll results. So we had 30 votes on the factor cap, and the cap won. So they are saying that he is a top 3 player in the NBA Finals.
I mean,
I said the Pacers win the NBA Finals. We had 25 votes, and Shaun, you were on a hill by yourself. But this is the most interesting one.
Wait. Was it? You said it was 25 votes, and I was on a hill by myself. Was it 24-1?
You got 2 votes.
Oh, all right. 22-3. Let's go.
The one that matters the most, 68 votes. Is SGA better than Jason Tatum? 42 bats and 26 caps.
Oh, man.
You said what? Man. Go ahead. Say that again, Kevin.
It was 48 to 26. Jason, or not Jason Tatum.
Damn. That recency bias going crazy.
TikTok has spoken.
Well, so by the time that we return next week to talk about the NBA Finals, the series will not be over because, well, actually, never mind. I rescind that because the series could be over as of next Monday if one of these teams wins the next 3 games. For some reason, I was thinking that we were coming on after Game 4. But point being, the series could be over by the time that we speak next week. So quickly, let's just go around the panel. What is your prediction for the next 3 games before we talk again? I'm going to say going into episode 148, the Pacers are up 3-2. Alex, how about you?
I'm going to say OKC is up 3-2.
Okay. Kevin?
OKC's going back 3-1, and they are celebrating, popping bottles.
Oh, all right. So Kevin says it's going to end 4-1, and we'll be recapping the finals by next Tuesday. Jaevon,
So
how about you?
Game 5. It'll be Game 5 by the time we.
Game 5 will have happened. Yeah, we'll be going into Game 6.
Okay. I say OKC's up 3-2.
All right. So there you go. We got 2 for OKC 3-2, 1 for Indiana 3-2, and 1 for OKC 4-1.
You both said they were going to split. So which game do the Pacers win? 3 or 4?
Pacers win tomorrow.
Okay.
Pacers win tomorrow. OKC wins on Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
Which game do they win, Shaun and Alex?
I think OKC wins Game 3, and then Pacers win Game 4.
Okay. That's interesting. We'll have to keep that in mind and present that information next Monday.
You get the answers, no?
I understand. I was presenting. Indiana holds down home court. They win the next 2 games. OKC wins Game 5 to stay alive.
Love it.
They say that a series doesn't really start until the road team wins, and that happened in Game 1. But I think it's going to be pretty chalky through the rest of it. If my Pacers in 6 prediction is correct, the Pacers will need to win all their home games because I don't know if they're going to win another game in OKC. But I also didn't know when they would win a game in OKC, period. And they did it in Game 1, so maybe they do it in Game 5. We shall see, and we will talk about